Hi everybody, we are Brigade of Beans, a diagnosed dissociative identity disorder system. My name is Shadow, and this is an interview with a trauma holder. It's been a wee while since we added a video to this little mini-series that we're doing, so I thought that I would come on and talk about my experiences as a trauma holder. I do want to say that this is just my experience. My experience is different to other trauma holders in our system, and it's going to be different to other trauma holders in other systems. But I thought that it would just be an interesting insight into how some trauma holders fulfill their role. So as I said, my name is Shadow, my pronouns are she, they, and I am 15 years old. I feel like the role term trauma holder is relatively self-explanatory, but how I fulfill my role is by holding on to traumatic memories and experiences that are too overwhelming for the rest of the system. I'm an alter who has fused quite a few times, so a lot of the alters who fused into me only really remembered one or two or small aspects of traumatic memories. However, as I've experienced more and more fusions, I've gained more and more traumatic memories and memories that aren't traumatic as well. And so my understanding of our trauma history has become a lot more robust and a lot more comprehensive. And I also carry a lot more trauma now than I did as any of the alters who fused into me. In saying that, I also have a lot more coping skills than I used to as parts who fused into me. I have a lot more connection with the system, and my ability to get help from other headmates and to rely on other headmates is a lot greater than alters who fused into me. So I'm able to handle having more trauma because I have more coping skills and more capacity as an alter. Do I fit any stereotypes about trauma holders? I think so. I do have quite a low mood quite often. I do experience a lot of flashbacks and a lot of trauma memories. I can be quite reluctant to engage with the system and with therapy and with people outside of the system. I do dissociate quite a bit, but I also think that there is a stereotype that trauma holders only hold trauma, like they only exist to have flashbacks, are miserable all the time, and that's not true. There are things that make me happy. I'm not always in flashback. I'm able to be grounded in the current time and within our body, even though it's not all the time. That is still possible for me to do. I think there's also a stereotype that a lot of alters are stuck at the age that trauma happened, especially trauma holders, and that is true for people who fused into me and true to myself. There's a lot of trauma that happened when we were bodily 15 and younger than that, and I think that's kind of why I am still 15, because I am still kind of stuck there. And I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's definitely weird to not be the same age as the body that you inhabit. Do I have more than one role, and how do they differ? Not really. I also hold on to a lot of depression and anxiety for the system, but I think that's directly related to the trauma that I hold. So they're kind of the same role. They're different, but they're also the same within how they apply to myself. The next one is something that I like and dislike about my role. I don't think there's much to like about being a trauma holder. I could say some toxic positivity thing about I get to keep the rest of the system safe. It means that they don't have to know all these horrible things that happen to us, and I can protect them. But honestly, I don't like that fact. I wish I didn't have to carry it alone. I wish that other alters were able to carry it with me. I don't want them to have experienced it, but I don't want to be alone in experiencing it. And I dislike a lot about being a trauma holder. I dislike the flashbacks. I dislike the fear I have of people. I dislike feeling miserable and feeling like it's my fault that this happened and that I should have done more, or that I could have done more, or that I deserved it for some reason. And I hate feeling that way. It's not enjoyable. I genuinely don't think there is anything to like about being a trauma holder. How did I know my role? For us, trauma holder is kind of one of our two default roles, the other one being protector. I hold trauma. I experience CPTSD symptoms, so it's pretty straightforward that I am a trauma holder. It's like I could potentially like explore other role terms, but I don't feel the need to. It's just, yeah, it's pretty, it was pretty self-explanatory and self-evident that I am a trauma holder. Like, I only fused very recently, in the last couple of weeks, couple of days. Fusion is weird and time is wibbly wobbly, but I'm still new to being myself as Shadow, but it's been pretty self-explanatory that I am a trauma holder. I'm also a frequent fronter. I think sometimes it's common for new fusers to front a lot, but I've been fronting a lot. So I guess that could be a secondary role, but I don't know that for sure yet, so we'll stand by. If you had to be any other role in the system, what would you be? I'd like to be a trauma-free part. I wouldn't mind being a caretaker to like teens or kids or other trauma holders. I'd just like to not have trauma. I'd like to be one of the trauma-free parts. Yeah, I don't like being a trauma holder. Those are all the different questions. Sorry, I'm really dissociating now. So I'm going to speed through our intro. I'm going to say something that most of the people in the system don't say, and is that if you're not subscribed and you like our content, it would mean a lot to us if you did subscribe. We're getting really close to 1,000 followers, and that's like a really big goal, and we're really excited for it. I also want to say that we are working on our intro checks video. We had a lot more responders than we expected, so we have a lot more information to go through, but that will be out in the near future, and we thank everyone who wanted to participate in that for doing so, because it means a lot, and we really like engaging with the community that we've built here in the comments and stuff, and it's just really nice. It's really nice to have the space where we can just be ourselves, and I am really grateful for it. And with all of that said and done, thank you all so much. We will see you next week. Bye.